Thanks very much, Michelle. Well, we look to Devan Dubnyk of the Edmonton Sun when we want to break down how we think a trade will play out. So thanks for being here yesterday. I don't have to tell you, the Oilers shipping Devan Dubnyk to the Predators in exchange for Matt Kendricks, and then, of course, picking up Ben Scrivens from the Kings. What do you make of all of this?
Well, it's interesting. I think Devan Dubnyk's time was come to an end with the Edmonton Oilers. I don't think Kevin Lowe thought he was the answer in net, and I think it started this summer when he basically went out and said, we're looking for other options in goal. So that really wasn't a ringing endorsement to Devan Dubnyk. He struggled this year a little bit, and I think the problem with Devan Dubnyk was that he really had some poor defense in front of him, and he didn't do a good job of kind of masking those deficiencies, as Kevin Lowe or Greg McTavish like to say, in front of him. And they went out and they didn't think he was doing a very good job. They went out, he got Ilya Bryzgalov, and they thought maybe the two could work together in a tandem. That didn't work out, so the Oilers went in another direction, and they're bringing Ben Scrivens in, who's not necessarily a proven goaltender. He's been passed over by a couple of organizations now, but they come in and they're going to hope that he can kind of do the job, because obviously they're not happy with Ilya Bryzgalov. I don't think Ilya Bryzgalov will be here next year. They hope that Ben Scrivens can kind of take the ball and run with it, and maybe he can be the goaltender of the future.
You never know. The pride of Spruce Grove. People love him. He's played about 50 games in the league. I think he's, 26 years old, and he'll be up for a contract renewal at the end of this year. Do the Edmonton Oilers have enough time right now to evaluate him between now and the end of this regular season to decide whether or not he's going to be worth maybe dangling a 3-year deal in front of?
I think so. They're gonna play him a lot. I think basically they got a good look at what really Bryzgalov can and can't do. They got a good look at what Devan Dubnyk can and can't do. Now I think it's going to be Ben Scrivens' ball to take and run with it, and they're going to see if this is the guy that can be a #1 goaltender. And I think part of the reason they made this trade is because they missed out on the Ben Bishop deal last year. Last year they felt that they weren't sure if Ben Bishop was going to be the guy that they wanted. They didn't offer enough for Ben Bishop in Ottawa. Ben Bishop went to Tampa and he became a star. He's just been
ripping it up right now for the
goaltender.
Lightning.
So now they're looking at Ben Scrivens going, okay, well, can he be the next Ben Bishop? Can he be a guy that can be a #1 goaltender? He's never going to be a #1 goaltender in LA because they have Jonathan Quick there. So this is an opportunity for him. But you got to wonder about a guy that lost his job in Toronto. Toronto doesn't have that solid a goaltender. They went out and got Jonathan Bernier because Ben Scrivens and James Reimer couldn't do the job. So you got to wonder about that. But it's a good opportunity for him, and he's going to have to come in here and try and solidify that position.
Okay, what do the Oilers get in Matt Hendricks? He's 4 points this year in 44 games. He's been playing anywhere between 7 and 13 minutes a game for the Nashville Predators. -5, 54 penalty minutes, 32 years of age. Grinder, contract hit of about what, 1.7, 1.8 million a year, I think?
Yeah, I think he's making 1.8 million a year, and this is a highly paid fourth line guy. And I think that's the one thing that a lot of people, if they just brought Matt Hendricks in, nobody would have said much, but his $1.8 million contract, and he's still got 3 years on that deal. So Nashville gave him a lot of money. He brings some size and grit, and basically things that the Oilers were missing. I think, but they needed size and grit on their top 6, basically their top 2 lines. They got Hendricks is going to come in and give them some size and grit on their bottom 2 lines, but they have to get bigger and stronger. And it was just one of those things that it was obvious that if they were going to play in this division against the big tough teams like LA and San Jose and Anaheim, they had to get bigger and stronger. And I think Matt Hendricks kind of addresses that need a little bit, but they're not done with size. They still need more big bodies on their front line.
Don't roll your eyes at me, okay? But a lot of people have been predicting before this Dubnyk deal that there would be a trade between the Edmonton Oilers and the Nashville Predators, but they were dreaming big, and there was talk that the Oilers should be pursuing a defenseman like Shea Weber, a Norris Trophy candidate each and every year, in exchange for skill like perhaps Jordan Eberle. Do you think that the Oilers are done dealing with Nashville, and do you think that the Oilers are done dealing this year?
No, I don't think they're done dealing this year. I think they're still going to tinker with the lineup. They have a lot of deficiencies, and I think if the Oilers take a step back and look at their lineup, they need help on defense, and I think that's been obvious all season. They don't have the defensive depth. They don't have the defensemen basically to play at that high level, and especially play in their division. As far as it comes to Shea Weber, that's reaching, because that's a big ticket, that's a big time player, and you're gonna have to give up a guy like Eberle. But I don't know if the Oilers are ready to give up on a guy like Eberle.
It's one of these things where you got to give something to get something, but do you devastate your franchise by trading Taylor Hall's roommate, by trading a kid that has excelled at every single level, not necessarily winning championships, but look at what he's done at the World Juniors. He sure didn't have a hard time, and a lot of people think Eberle could be a 70-point guy each and every year. And do you take something like that and just get rid of it when he's still 22, 23 years old?
Exactly, and you look at Jordan Eberle and you wonder, what he would do on a good team. Like, what if he played in LA? What if he played on a good team? How many goals could he score? And he's such a talented goal scorer that, you think that one day he could score 40 goals in this league, and you don't give away players like that. You don't trade away players like that. And bringing back a guy like Shea Weber, who's got a huge contract and a huge term on his contract, still got 12 years on that contract. You talk about bold moves, but Craig McTavish said that we want to make bold moves, but not dumb moves. And I'm not sure this would be in that category of bold and not dumb.
So now all eyes will turn to Martin Marincin, another young defenseman, Jeff Petrie, as people continue to evaluate the development of the team. We know you've got to get out of here because you've got minor hockey week to cover. Thanks for coming in. Derek Van Diest of the Edmonton Sun. You can follow him on Twitter. You can find all that information under the Inside BT link on our website. We're right back with Say What next.
Dry cleaning services for BT, provided by the Press Gallery. Designer purse and shoe cleaning services, now available in Edmonton.